Call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everybody here to our first meeting for the month of June. Tonight we're going to be led in the pledge by the Christiana Elementary archery team.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We could have a moment of silence. Thank you. Approval of agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Blair and a second by Ms. Blankenship. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval of consent agenda.
Mr. Hodge, on the consent agenda, the dual student fees are listed on the consent agenda. If we could move those to the bottom of the agenda for a short moment of discussion, please.
That'd be fine.
Thank you. Otherwise, I move to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Holliday and a second by Mr. Blair. Any further discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, Mr. Oldham. Number 6.
Number 6, we have some recognition tonight. The first one is a national archery team at Christiana Elementary School, and SRO Scott Reed, I believe, is the coach, right, for that? Would you come up to the microphone where the people on the TV land and all can hear, and we'll let the students introduce themselves, or ever how you'd like to do that tonight. Now, some things that you might know. Let me read this, though, to kind of get this. This is the Christiana Elementary School's archery team. Their successes for this year. They're the 2013 National Archery in the Schools Program State Champions. In addition, the team has qualified and competed in the national tournament in Kentucky this spring. Based on their performance in that tournament in Kentucky, they are now going to the World Tournament in St. Louis this summer. So, Officer Reed, will you please tell us something about them and let them introduce themselves, whichever way you'd like to do.
Yes, sir. Don't know where to start, but for the most part, these students have been fabulous. This is our 3rd year in the program. They took 2nd place last year, 2nd place the year before last. This year, they stepped it up. Every challenge we gave them, they conquered it. They took 1st place. They had several students that ranked within the top 5 in the state, in addition to taking 1st place. I couldn't be more proud of them, and we couldn't be more proud of the program, and also the parents and supportive of the administration.
Would you come up here and stand, and we'll let them give their name? Do you mind doing that? Because this will be on television a little bit later, and you can go home and watch yourself. Would you come by? Now you need to say your name nice and loudly when we start, okay? So that it'll pick it up, the microphones in the building. How about just say your name? Start and tell us your name.
Daniel Donnelly, AC Boring, Jordan Martin, Brandon Kluber, Avery Nail, Sarah Davis, Avery Moore, Peter Sullivan, Austin Davis, Tucker Barron, Jacob Smith, Wyatt Rose, Dylan Harden, Tristan Dock, Cole Hedden, Holden Rose, Kyle Dock, Elliot Black.
Let's give them a hand. next competition because they go to St. Louis? When is that?
We will be going, it's scheduled for the 28th to the 30th of June.
28th to 30th of June. Thank you for representing Rutherford County Schools so well. Great job. I tell you, and Archer. And Ruben wants to say
Any board members want to comment?
Just congratulations, and we're so proud. I'm sorry.
And good luck.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Sorry. No.
We sure appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we got recognition of several student athletes, and I'm going to let Mr. Odom
Okay.
turn that over to him.
You know, it's always wonderful when we have students representing our schools at the state level. Of course, this year during spring fling, we had several student athletes who brought home championships to Rutherford County. We need to recognize those tonight. Now, one group will not be here tonight. Will probably come to a subsequent meeting, and that's Smyrna High's girls softball. If you remember, that's the first state title for Rutherford County in the history of this, and they may be here as early as our next meeting. But we'll be recognizing Smyrna High. The next one is Oakland High School, and Bill Spurlock, do you mind coming up and?
I'll let Coach Evans. He's
Okay.
there to open.
Good.
Well, thank you, Mr. Spurlock, and I appreciate really the opportunity to be able to be at Oakland High School this year and be able to coach a great bunch of kids. And one in particular is Brock Baker, and he's probably running right now. He was a phenomenal athlete to be able to work with, and I've known him for several years, but this is the first opportunity to be able to get close with him and his family and work with them. And actually, he, along with Connor Thompson, kind of as a duo, a team together, really made our efforts excel this year, being able to be runner-up in the state in track and field. So it was a really great accomplishment on those two young men's part. But in Brock, in particular, to be able to go after what we call the Triple Crown in track and field and distance, and his ability to be able to run the 3,200 that morning and accomplish winning that title first, then coming back later on and winning the 1,600-meter run, and then later on to come on and to hammer it down hard in the real fast 800-meter run and take all three titles. So not only did he do that this year, but he was able to accomplish setting the state record in the mile 2 as the fastest miler in the state of Tennessee. So great accomplishment on his part, and I appreciate y'all's recognition of him. And Mr. Spurlock, your opportunity to give me a chance to coach at Oakland too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. John Ash, would you come up? You have some runners also in this and relay, so do you mind?
I'm going to let Coach Meadows.
Okay, good deal.
I just appreciate the opportunity to honor these kids. We had Andre Hillsman, who won the 3,200 meters.
Is he here?
He is here.
Come up front. We want to get you on here.
Andre started off the day for us at the state championship with a 3,200 victory. He also came third in the 1,600, and I believe he came in 6th or 4th in the 800 meters as well. He had a great year. He worked hard, and he runs quite a bit, and he's just a young junior, so he'll have one more year to participate again. We also have here our 4x800 meter team. We have Jordan Turney, Nathan Delk, and Justin Young. We also had a Danny Mullane. They won the state in the 4x8. They've worked hard. They've been running since they were in the 9th grade with us. They're juniors this year, so we're looking for great things out of them next year. And I have to also mention Coach Mullane. She works very hard with these young men right here, and she does a great job with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. I don't have anyone from Riverdale here. Do you have? I mean, I've got some. Oh, Mr. Fields, I see you now.
Mr. Odom, boy, we thank you very much for recognizing all these athletes. You know, I have known some since Hershey track, but these young ladies I'm about to introduce tonight are the state champions in the 4x2. You know, where they are accomplished a lot of things. They were undefeated throughout the year in the 4x2. Matter of fact, they had undefeated regular season in track. You know, all the way through to the state meet, which they wound up being overall the 11th best team in the state of Tennessee. Ladies, we start off with a leadoff leg, Talia Martin. She's a junior. Our second leg is not able to be here tonight. She's a senior. Her name is Jalea White. Our third leg is Miss Dariana Parrish. She's a sophomore. And our ankle leg is Miss Joy Frison. She's a senior. Excuse me, she's a junior right now. Well, a lot of schools looking for her to come run for them. And as a freshman, Joy was the anchor leg on the 2011 state championship 4x2 team also. And again, we thank you very much for recognizing all these athletes and especially these fine ladies right here.
Thank you. And now I think we're going to get to move to tennis. Jason Bridgman from Siegel High School. If you'll come up, or your coach. Okay.
Mr. Odom, board members, we thank you for allowing us to be here and recognizing these students. We've got two student athletes who won the girls doubles championship at AAA. First, Ashley Bowles, a senior. Ashley also last year was the state singles champion as well, so 2 years back to back. Managed to win a state championship as an individual, and she leaves Siegel as the most decorated individual player in the history of the school. So we're very proud of her, and we're certainly going to miss her next year. Her partner this year was a junior, Marissa Kovach. As a team, we finished runner-up to a school from over in Williamson County, and but we had a very successful year, and a lot of girls participated with that. Coach Lehman is not here tonight, but she was a major part of that. We thank Mr. Bridgman and the staff over at Siegel. They were very supportive of us and allowed us to do the things we needed to do to be successful. We'd also like to thank the board for the investment you made a few years ago with the tennis facility over at Old Fort. I think that's a direct reason that we're able to be as successful as we are and to compete at this level, and we're grateful for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. I think that's...
Any board members have any comments? Mr. Tackett?
I'm quite impressed. Al Evans and Ricky Field, I know I made you what you are out there. But it's good to see colleagues doing so well. And Ricky's been it. How long have you been at Riverdale, Rick?
I came on in the spring of 1990.
You've been there a long time, of course. And Al, just his first year at Oakland. Congratulations to all of these. And Coach Martin was at Oakland for a while, too. So great to see great people do well.
All right. Number 7, visitors. We got, I believe, 5 visitors tonight. I'll tell you what, we got a lot of student athletes and stuff. Feel free, if you want to leave leave or whatever you want to do, and then we'll do visitors here in just a second.
You're forward, minimum. Mm-hmm. At least he was. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Since it was,
We've got several visitors tonight. We've got 5. I'd like to remind everybody to try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. As far as the board goes, any responses that any board members want to give, or Mr. Odom wants to comment on anything, we'll do that at general discussion at the end of the meeting. So, Ms. Marshall right here, she'll be operating the clock up here. So, Ms. Marshall tells you time's up. I'd appreciate if you respect her and try to wind it down. So, the first one we got up is Catherine Fair.
Good evening. I'll try to do my 3 minutes. I want to respectfully request that you reconsider your decision to reassign Dr. Chantel Bridgman from Campus School. I'm certain that I speak for many parents and students when I say, that this would be a grave mistake, and we do not understand why this decision has been made. We as a family, my own family, have only been at HPCS for 1 year and split our time between HPCS and where our 4th grader attended and another county school where our 2nd grader attended. In that time, we have witnessed dramatic differences between leadership and strategy at HPCS than other schools the other school where my youngest attended. This past year, we have witnessed firsthand the involvement and leadership that Dr. Bridgman has invoked at HPCS and the dramatic difference that it has made in my 4th grader's life. We see teachers that execute leadership, and this is where real-time differences are made from the top down. My son has excelled, and grown academically more so than at any other school he has ever attended. And he has done this with the help of the administration. This is a huge mistake that you have made, and we do not understand why you made it. We had hoped that our 3rd grader would enter at Campus School. With these unfounded changes that you are making, we are very concerned about the continued level of excellence and leadership that will not be carried out. More pointedly, this decision affects most of all the students and more specifically my student. It is unfortunate that you choose to exercise your power over our children's future with such myopic perspective. There is clear documented data and evidence that Dr. Bridgman has been successful in her methods and strategies. She has executed directives that were not simply given by your board, but also by the state and the nation. She has brought HPCS to the top 5% of overall TCAP scores in the state, reestablished HPCS at MTSU as a lab school, invoked technology and innovative teaching strategies for level K through 5. All of these things we have not experienced or seen at other county elementary schools that my children have attended. It is unclear how these achievements warrant a reassignment. It has been my experience in this country, when someone executes and achieves directives in a job, they are promoted and given accolades. This decision goes against that traditional career path. May I finish?
no, sorry, your time's up.
Thank you, Ms. Fair. Next, we got up Mr. Jim Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Odom and board members. I live at 2727 Waywood Drive here in Murfreesboro, and you know, a school system is perhaps the most valuable institution that our county has. And you, members of this board, are the guardians of that system. I come here tonight because of an issue that related to my wife several weeks ago, who is was a substitute teacher at one of the local high schools. And the reason I come to you is because I know that you have a policy, an absolute policy, against the bringing of weapons onto school grounds. What I think you should also have, and maybe you do have, and I just don't know about it, is an absolute policy against the abuse of a teacher. My wife is a physician who was awaiting her license in Tennessee, and she now has it. She's practicing medicine, so I don't think she'll be back to substitute as a school teacher. But while she was at one of your local high schools, and while she was teaching a Spanish class, she was informed by members of the class that they did not have to do the assignment that had been left for them by their teacher. And not only that, since she was just a substitute teacher, what she had to say was not important. When I called the afternoon that it occurred, I called the high school, and no one was in the office, so my phone call was transferred to the Board of Education. And at that time, I made an appointment with Mr. Odom to see him about the issue. And I want to say that Mr. Odom was fabulous. He treated us with respect, and he took care of the issue and dealt with it. But you as a board don't need to tolerate, ever, abuse of teachers. I don't care if they're substitute teachers, what their situation is. But your situation, I mean, your policy should be the same as it is with weapons. If a student decides to abuse a teacher, that student needs to be properly disciplined. Now, I don't know what happened in this case. I know there was some discipline meted out, but the one thing that didn't happen that I think should have happened is those students should have been made to apologize to my wife by the teacher. If they chose not to do so, then whatever discipline was going to be meted out would be meted out after they were given that opportunity. If they chose to be the kind of people that we want them to be, so that they don't become later the lawbreakers that inhabit the jails of this county, then at that point in time, maybe the discipline might be modified based on their behavior. I want to thank Mr. Odom. Mr. Odom, unlike some of the administration in the high school, was very accommodating to our issue, and I appreciate the way that he handled it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next we have Marcella Windrow.
Good evening. I'll be real brief, but I'm part of a parent of the Christiana Elementary archery team, and we are just terribly honored that you all decided to recognize us tonight. These are a great group of kids. They're good citizens. They make good grades. Majority of the team will be going to the middle school this coming up school year. There's no archery program at the middle school, so a lot of us were inquiring as to why there's no program when there's a program at Rockvale and Buchanan. A team of this caliber, I mean, this is a really good team. We've exceeded in archery, and it would be just a shame for it just to stop, just at that level. So I asked my daughter, "Why do you like archery?" "Mommy, it's fun, and I'm a part of something. I've made good friends." She just wants to continue it, and I would be proud to support it. It has been approached with the principal, and I was told that there are other activities and sports to get involved with. I guess there's no room for it there, I don't know. So the reasoning, but that was the recording that was left on my phone. So just wanted to see what we needed to do to maybe initiate an archery team at the middle school, especially with this group of kids and this caliber. We are going to World Tournament, and that is a very high honor. So I appreciate your time and attention to it, and you all have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Windrow. Next, we have Allison Mazara. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it.
Good evening. I just want to say that unfortunately, our experience at Campus School is bullies seem to win. From the moment I stepped foot into Campus School with my 2 small children, I was met with adversity by 2 of the PTC officers. They had nothing positive to say about Campus School or Dr. Chantel Bridgman. They didn't know who I was from a can of paint, but went on to express that the school was much better before she had gotten there and that she was nothing more than a common crook. I was a little surprised and taken aback that these were her actual PTC officers. So as I emailed Mr. Odom and said, Mr. Odom, we're new to the community, we're new to this school, what direction should I take? And Mr. Odom responded, that's left up to you to decide, but this is where the school stands. This is what the school scores are. As we proceeded in the year, me and my husband attended PTC meetings that were extremely personal, that were extremely aggressive. You had PTC officers' husbands standing the entire meeting, intimidating Dr. Bridgman. I emailed Mr. Odom and explained to him how me and my husband were very concerned about that meeting, and if her husband had been there, it probably would have went a different way. That's just how bad and aggressive and personal that it was. It was as if the rest of the parents weren't there, and this was just an attack from the PTC officers to Dr. Bridgman. They said she was incompetent and someone needed to watch her with fundraiser money being spent. As we had another PTC meeting, Dr. Bridgman chose not to come. I don't blame her. I showed up, where Dr. Kelly Williams proceeded to videotape the PTC meeting, which was explained to me was against the rules. As I asked him not to videotape me, he got very aggressive in my face, as I emailed you, Mr. Odom, and I got no response about that one. My husband emailed Mr. Odom expressing how concerned he was with a 6'5" man yelling at his wife. Since I have let it be known that I support Campus School and Dr. Bridgman, not only have I been bullied, my 6-year-old daughter has been targeted. As I spoke to you about that, Mr. Odom, in your office face-to-face, and expressed to you the concern that I have. These are the same parents that come to the board day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. I don't know how Mr. Odom has the time to entertain fundraiser questions and Teacher Appreciation Day to drop off bagels, but somehow they get to come back to the school and let us know Mr. Odom is on our side. And when I spoke with Mr. Odom and told him that my husband was a doctor and we didn't have time for this, he told me they have doctors on their side. So right then and there, it led me to believe that there was a their side if you support Dr. Bridgman, and there's another side if you don't support Dr. Bridgman. Is it fair that she loses her job and all these parents get to stay at this school? Why don't they go to their zone school if they're so miserably unhappy?
Ma'am.
Next we have Stephanie Murray.
Mr. Odom, board members, I am a Christian and I believe in truth. I have kept quiet because the Bible states to follow peace with all men, holiness without no man shall see God. I have come in peace, but I must tell the truth. The truth is the light, and I must speak without fear. You may ask why I waited so long to speak. I just thought the good always wins, and that with all the positive things Dr. Bridgman has done, the negativity could not win, right? I was sadly mistaken. I've worked for Rutherford County Schools for over 10 years, and I've worked for Dr. Bridgman for 6. She advocates not only for the students, but teachers, staff, and all that works for her. In 2009, Dr. Bridgman was appointed principal at Campus School. She was given a mission to improve test scores. Parents were divided, teachers were divided. She had her work cut out for her. I remember her being at Campus School hours during the first year, taken away from her own family, but she was so determined to make this school what it should be. I will never forget the morning I pulled up to work and saw racial slurs on this historic building and on our marquee. I was devastated and so hurt. I began to think, what kind of world do we live in? And realized some people in the community did not want us here. The racial slurs happened twice, and it never had happened in the 79 years before. In the midst of everything going on, Dr. Bridgman still held her head high, did what was right, and improved learning. I have always been told sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt you. I realize that is untrue. Words can hurt and bring unnecessary stress. I saw how some parents treated her and went to the board because she was following district policies that all schools should follow. When she saw the racial slurs, she cried. When she was lied on, she cried. I couldn't understand. She was here to do a job, and what she had done wasn't good enough. Our school is in the top 5% and it's always clean. She has protected those students like they were her babies. We stand against bullying in our system. We have seen children commit suicide for the pressure of it all. Every year I have asked her if we should leave. It was obvious we were not wanted, and no matter how hard she worked, some parents still would come after her. During her pregnancy, I worried about her and begged her to leave because I was afraid of the stress that it would have on her baby. She refused. This year, I have watched parents yell at her. I have heard a parent threaten her. She was expected to endure all of this, and yet she exceeded all standards, according to Rutherford County. To say she is not a good fit for this community sends the same message that those people who spray painted those racial slurs twice were trying to send. My daughter is now robbed of a great education at campus school. I watched Dr. Bridgman be bullied, and now she is being punished. I was bullied by some parents for supporting her. I watched other parents who supported her be bullied. My daughter and I must find another place to go, because if no one protected her, who will protect us?
If everybody wants to stay around till the end of the meeting, Mr. Odom, if you want to address any concerns, or any board members want to address anything, we'll do it at that time. Number 8, Mr. Carter.
I want to give you a status update, and I've got 3 different items on here that we're currently involved with. And the first one is Stewart's Creek High School. These pictures were taken about a week ago, and things have changed very rapidly since these pictures were taken. So there's a lot been done in the last week and a half out there. And there's about 7 of these, so I'm going through them very fast. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone had a really good idea of where we were out there. And if you need to slow me down or stop me and ask a question, I'll be glad to answer it. This is an aerial photograph, and that's taken from the northwest corner. This one is taken from the west looking east. I think Mike's going to turn the lights down for us. This one is from the south looking north. And then just, this is a turning lane that's going in up by Morton. Another shot of that turning lane. We're rounding the corner onto Morton. You come in, this is down by the stadium, the Hawks. Bleachers, the picture of the field, the track is now paved. and the field's been graded. Another picture of that, and looking towards the concession stand and the two baseball field, or baseball and softball field. Another picture of the press box. Just a picture of the lighting that's on the football stadium. This is the parking lot across from the stadium. It's been completed and marked. These are when the bleachers were going in at the ball fields, and they're now complete. Some of the ball field lights, backstop, picture from the ball field looking back towards the stadium. The restrooms are coming to completion. They've been painted now. This is another restroom shot. This is inside the concession stand. One of the dugouts. This is the baseball field. And this is looking down from south to north up through the parking. As you get on up closer to the building, we're approaching the front of the building. This is around the end of the building. They were paving those parking lots, so the parking lots are now paved. There's only the main street around the outside and the small parking lot at the back off of the cafeteria and the gym, and then also the entry, the emergency entry and exits on either side of the campus. Front of the building, this is on around. They're paving. This part has just been freshly paved. This is around at the gym side, looking back towards the front classroom section. This is over on Foxland. They might have gotten that paving today, I'm not sure, but we're set up and ready for the gates there. Greenhouse. It's just a picture in between the greenhouse and the cafeteria dock. Looking back down towards the baseball field and onto the visitor side of the stadium. This is on the other side of the campus, that egress, emergency egress. And they were putting carpet in at that time in the office, and now the office is complete and all the furniture is in it. And the principal has moved in out there with his staff. The office, the media center, they're setting furniture in there now, and casework. The clouds up in the ceiling there. It's one of the hallways, the blue hallway. Classroom. Out into the courtyard. Little amphitheater there. This is one of the doors, if you know, at Siegel, this one of the add-ons that we put on this new building so that this can be protected and you don't have just a clear shot into the area inside the courtyard. So, but you can also back up a vehicle loaded with something and unload it on the stage there also. It's the auditorium. Coming close to being finished now. From the end of the stage, lighting's up. They were painting the main ball court, basketball court. This is it. Looking up in the ceiling. This is another picture from the back of the auditorium. This is the auxiliary gym. Scoreboards are up. Cafeteria, all the serving lines are in. And the green has kind of faded in the background a little bit. We don't pick the colors, we just put them in. But it's amazing how all of the color schemes working now inside the school really well. One of the projectors, or those close throw projectors now, and the board's a little darker to hold the glare off. It's inside the music studio, inside the video TV studio, inside the TV studio. This is inside one of the, I think probably the health, I forget what that's called.
Health science?
Yeah, health sciences. The lockers in one of the wings, one of the science labs, one of the hoods there, and then of course you have the safety shower, wash. And then this is a view coming out onto Evansville Road up from the campus area. And then I wanted to give you a little bit of rundown on the schedule for Blackman Middle School addition. The bid set of documents are due today, and I believe those are ready for us to check and take a good look at them, make sure we haven't missed anything. June 25th, the bid documents will go out, be issued for bid. July 2nd, pre-bid conference. July 16th will be the bid opening at 2 p.m. and 22nd will be construction start. And then June 30th, 2014 is substantial completion. Be ready for the 2014-15 school year. Then Smyrna Primary addition. The July 23rd, the bid document check set will be ready. August 6th, the documents will be issued for bid. August 13th, pre-bid conference. August 27th, bid opening at 2 p.m. here. Then September 9th, construction start, and then June 30th, 2014, substantial completion. The only other thing that I have is we were approved for a $168,000 grant on the Energy Efficiency School Initiative to initiate our software for our construction energy management, and also money to hire and pay for the first year salary of an energy manager. And we also currently have two gentlemen in maintenance that are going through a class, an 11-week class over at Pellissippi State that will certify them as energy managers. So we're looking forward to that. We see an opportunity to save some money on energy, and we're looking forward to getting it instituted. We have any questions?
Mr. Holiday?
On the consent agenda tonight, Mr. Clardy also helped out to get the stadium expansion at Smyrna High School and Laverne High School in check and close to budget. He's expressed to me a couple more tweaks that he's going to do there to bring that into the right financial place that it needs to be, but that's something that we desperately needed to do for the American Disabilities Act to make sure that we had access there and improvements at those stadiums. So thank you for that as well.
You're welcome. We'll be starting that just into the new year, 13-14 fiscal year, and those will be ready for football season coming fall.
Think you using a lot of your people on that, try to cut the cost?
Actually, Smyrna Ready Mix, Mr. Hollingshead, Mike Hollingshead is going to do the concrete work and donate that. And he helps us out every year and donates a lot of concrete and a lot of labor and different things to different projects we do. So that'll save us about $25,000 on that. And then We're going to amend about 25 or 26,000 in from the existing fund balance for capital improvements to complete the budget for that.
Well, we're going with our original plan, or have you had to deviate from that some?
It'll be the original plan. We did change the specifications just a little bit and tweak those to open it up so there'd be more bidders on the job.
Good. Anybody else? We appreciate it, Mr. Carter. Good report.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may,
Yes.
I know Mr. Evans is kind of giving me a nod that one of his other people has arrived. Could we get that recognition done before we move on
Yes,
with the
sir.
rest of the agenda?
Sorry I was not able to make it on time with the other state champions, but I wanted to say just a quick word, just thanking the school board and also just thanking Rutherford County for their support of me. I was able to win 3 state championships for Oakland High School and for Rutherford County this year at the track and field state championships, and it was an extremely large blessing. So just thank you for your continued support of Oakland High School and our track programs, and it's a great program to help the youth get a part of a team and to be able to compete. So thank you so much, and thank you for the time.
Brock, give us your name for the TV that's watching
Yes,
from
sir.
home.
Sorry. My name is Brock Baker, and I just graduated from Oakland High School.
Brock was also valedictorian too, so academically, his strength is well-rounded too, so appreciate it. Thank you.
Brock, I'd like to congratulate you also. Where you going to college at? You got a scholarship?
University of Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, okay, good. Congratulations. Number 9, Mr. Odom.
Okay, I might say to the people that are listening on TV or in the audience tonight, we did have a work session last night. So you'll find some of the items that are listed at the plans and all the board did discuss them last evening. The first one of these is item number 9. Elementary and Secondary Education Act, which ESEA, and IDEA, which is Special Education, Consolidated Funding Application and Plan. Under the Elementary and Secondary Education Act and the Individuals with Disabilities Act, the local consolidated grant application and plan for fiscal 2014.01 includes the following components. Title I, Part A, which is Improving Academic Achievement for the Disadvantaged. Title II, Part A, Teacher and Principal Training and Recruitment. Title III, Part A, which is English Language Acquisition, Language Enhancement, and Academic Achievement. And IDEA, Part B, Individuals with Disability. The motion is recommend approval. Motion to approve the fiscal year 2014.01 local consolidated grant application plan under ESEA, IDEA, and authorize the director to file any necessary budget revisions, addenda, or transfer request.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Holliday, second by Mr. Tackett. Any further discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 10.
10 is request for a PRN wage increase for 2013-14. PRN, pro re nata, is a Latin phrase that means as the circumstance arises. Nurses who cover schools on an as-needed basis. PRNs do not receive benefits and work random schedules to cover for unexpected absences of our full-time nursing staff. Nurses who we employ as PRNs are required to have a BSN with several years of experience. The current PRN nurse wage is $23 per hour. The Department of Health Services is requesting a wage increase to $30 per hour to attract and adequately compensate experienced nurses for this position. This is at least $10 an hour less than PRN nurses receive in any hospital setting. The 2012-2013 Rutherford County Schools salary schedule shows licensed employees with a bachelor's degree with no experience making $35,196, which figures to be just over $25 an hour. That's more than we are paying these nurses right now. In 2012-13, we spent $5,704 gross on PRN nurses for 248 hours. With the wage increase, we would expect this cost to increase to approximately $7,440 or an additional $1,739, assuming the same number of hours worked. Recommend approval. Motion to approve the increase for PRNs from $23 an hour to $30 per hour to attract and adequately compensate experienced nurses for this position.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Blair, seconded by Mr. Nipper.
Close.
Any further discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 11.
Number 11 is proposed central office position. The director's contract states that any new central office positions must have board approval. The proposed position is a 120-day contract for an athletic director to oversee TSSAA and system compliance issues, assist with safety protocols, and serve as a contact for charter school applications. The current teacher center coordinator, Ann McCraw, will be going on a 120-day contract on July 1, and our Safe Schools program manager and testing assistant, Josh Kubley, will become the lead person for testing while still retaining oversight for our school safety program. The job description provides more details of expectations for this position. That's on your tab 3. Recommend approval. Motion to approve a new 120-day central office position for an athletic director and safety assistant.
Heard the motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Holliday? Okay. Got a motion by Mr. Young and a second by Mr. Holliday. Any further discussion on this?
We spoke of it last night, but I'll just reiterate the need and the benefits of these specific specialist positions. We currently have them in place for mathematics as well as language arts in the 6th through 12th grade scope. This is also going to be a benefit, and Mr. Odom's done an excellent job putting together the job description and making it revenue neutral by kind of shifting some things around. And so I appreciate Mr. Odom's efforts there. In the future, we may find that science specialists as well as perhaps a fine arts specialist or others may be appropriate as we continue to move forward and keep up with other systems.
Thank you, Mr. Holliday. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 12.
Number 12 is the transportation. This is bus contracts for 2013, 2014 through 2017, 2018. The current bus transportation services contracts expire June 30th, 2013. The chairman, Transportation Department, and Board Attorney Jeff Reed have met with representatives of the Bus Drivers Association and prepared the proposed contract for 2013-14 through 2016-17 school years. The mileage and seat rates in the attached contract do not yet reflect a 1.5% increase to both the mileage and seat rates being proposed with the Transportation Department. Pending final budget approval by the County Commission of the school system's proposed budget, the Transportation Department would propose the mileage and seat rates in the proposed contract be revised to reflect the 1.5% increase to both rates. The specific proposed mileage and seat rates reflecting the increases are attached to the addendum for the second proposed motion below. The fuel formula remains the same in the proposed contract, but the proposed contract provides that it shall be reviewed on an annual basis by the board. Your first motion is recommend approval. Motion to approve the bus transportation services contract for the 2013-14 through 2016-17 school years for all approved bus contractors.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Blair and a second by Mr. Nipper. Any further discussion on this? I take it everybody had time to look at it last night, so pretty detailed contract. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Second part.
Second part, recommended approval. Motion to approve subject to the Rutherford County approving the school system proposed budget for the 2013-14 school year, the mileage and seat rates in the proposed bus transportation services contract be updated to the rates in the attached addendum.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Nipper and a second by Mr. Tackett. Any further discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. B.
B is the 2013-2014 bus contract list. Pursuant to Policy 1-41, Bus Contract Award Procedures, the new contractor list for the 2013-14 school year is presented. These four lists: first priority is regular bus drivers, second priority, part-time or sub-drivers, third priority, those who have turned down the opportunity, and the fourth list to those who currently own one or more contracts. This is for approval in order to facilitate the awarding of new bus contracts on a timely basis for the beginning of the new school year and thereafter as contracts are turned into the Transportation Department throughout the year. Motion, recommended approval. Motion to approve the potential first, second, third priority contractors list and fourth list of current contractors for the 2013-14 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Chairman, I'm
We
going to
just
vote
second.
for this.
You get the second, Ms. Michaels? Mr. Nipper? Okay. All right, Ms. Blair?
I'm going to vote for this, but I would like to put the board on alert that I plan to bring before the policy committee. I've talked with Mr. Snell at length and to possibly simplify this. Of course, too late to do anything for this next year, but hopefully in following years we can make this a little simpler. Four list seems to be a little bit complicated, so I do plan on bringing something to the policy committee.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. C.
C is a contract non-renewal. Faisal Segay has been the owner and contractor of bus number 59 for the Rutherford County Board of Education since July 8, 2008. Mr. Segay has been responsible for 2 preventable accidents, one on April 13, 2012 and another on May 14, 2012. Per Article 16.7, preventable accidents of the bus contract, if a contractor is responsible for 2 or more preventable accidents within a 3-year period, the board reserves the right to prohibit the responsible bus driver from operating a bus, and the board may, within the board's discretion, terminate this contract with the contractor. Mr. Segay has on 2 occasions failed to provide coverage for his route when the bus was unable to run, once on October 15, 2012, and again on January the 9th, 2013. Per Article 2.5, substitute buses. It is the contractor's responsibility to ensure the route is covered through the aid of other buses should replacement bus be unavailable in a timely manner. If a contractor is unavailable to cover their route, a backup plan is to be in place by the contractor. This includes having a contact person in place. If the contact person is not provided, and the Transportation Department has to ensure coverage of your route for any day, days, or partial days, there shall be deducted an amount equal to the contract amount for each day in the month for which the contractor does not provide service and will be distributed among the contractors who covered the route. During the school years 2012-2013 and 2011-2012, Mr. Segay's bus did not run his route on a total of 15 days and 15 days respectively. Below is a listing of the days. I think you have that particular chart. Per Article 2.2, period of operation, contractor shall provide the school bus service pursuant to the terms of the contract for a period of 180 days. Because of the missed time, extra work was created for the Transportation Department to notify parents of bus schedule change, the schools being notified of the change, students being late for school, with some students missing breakfast and having students standing in inclement weather waiting on the bus, etc. With the documentation attached and numerous phone calls from the Transportation Director to Mr. Segay concerning these issues, we propose the following recommendation. Recommend approval. Motion to approve that the contract for Segay shall not be renewed for the upcoming contract 2013 to 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Nipper and a second by Ms. Blankenship. Any further discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 13, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Tackett, the chair of the Charter School Review Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I remind everyone that the members of that committee, most of which are here this evening, Ms. Barnes, Ms. Bell, Mr. Evans, Mr. Sandvig, Mr. Zago, and Dr. Bob Bullen representing the public. I stated this last night, but I think it's worth stating again. It was the charge of our committee, and it's the charge of our board to be open to every opportunity we can to increase opportunities for our students to do the best they can, including charter schools. We received this application and reviewed it, yet we do require those applicants in any way to make sure that they meet or surpass the level of services that are currently provided through our exemplary school system. You've been presented, had a chance to look at it, I hope, and at our findings as they relate to the academic plan, operating plan, and the financial plan. And based on that information and evidence presented to us, which you have reviewed, it is the motion from the Charter School Review Committee that the application for the Tracy Darnell Montessori Academy be denied.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Tackett and a second by Mr. Holliday. Any discussion on this?
Let me add this. I meant to make this in my remarks. I do want to thank those members of that group that did make the presentation to us. I certainly think their passion is in the right place. They have every intention of providing the best opportunity. We, as a committee, felt like they fell short of the requirements to meet that. But they were good to come. They had 5 members that did come and meet with us as part of the process. We had a good 2-hour give and take, trying to clarify, trying to answer questions, so forth. So I want to thank Dr. Terrence Lawless and his group for their commitment to education to Rutherford County Schools, and they do have an opportunity to appeal this if they would choose to do so, and if they do, we'll welcome that opportunity to consider that.
Anybody else? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Did you pick up the item that was moved from consent back?
Mr. Holliday,
Holliday,
it's your...
Yes, sir. I asked that the fee schedule that was in the consent agenda be pulled out and that we could consider it specifically. It makes reference to AP courses and honors courses and fees that may be subject to that. My concern was that we have the new dual enrollment academy at Laverne High School, and I didn't want us to miss the opportunity for dual enrollment fees to be specifically considered and addressed. When we took a break to allow for guests to step away, I was able to speak with Ms. Angel McLeod, and she told me that there's been consideration for that. Could I ask for you to address that?
And after further discussion, we are not sure whether that would be a fee or not. Because the class actually happens during the school day, there's a possibility it could be a fee, but I'm not sure that we cannot require it because it's going to a university. So if you would prefer to defer it to the next board meeting, I'll get some clarification from the state so that we make sure we account for it if we should.
Will we be okay then with time frame and everything? There are no deadlines that we're up against for publishing?
We should be fine. The only problem that it will create is that it would not be would not be included in the list that goes in the student handbook because it has to go to the printer this week. But we post the list on our website as well, so it would be posted.
With that understanding, then, I'd ask that we defer this then to the next board meeting.
It'll be fine. We'll have Mr. Michaels put it on the agenda.
Thank you.
If that's okay.
Sir.
Number 14, general discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to address 2 of the folks that spoke. One of the gentlemen has left, unfortunately. I fully agree with him that we should not in any way, shape, form, or fashion tolerate, and I don't think we do, I hope we don't, tolerate any abuse of personnel, including substitute teachers. I'm not sure where the conversation went as far as school, and I'm not interested in finding out what that might be. But it puts a bad mark on Rutherford County Schools anytime that occurs. And so I'm hopeful that he will have that conversation if necessary at a specific time with the principal and so forth to see. Now, working in that situation, I can also speak to it. It becomes a very difficult thing sometimes to pin down exactly who did what. And so you can make those attempts, but at the same time, that it can be a difficult thing. But I just want to state for the record, I think the board is very clear that we do not support in any way, shape, form, or fashion anyone being mistreated within a school. It'd be student, teacher, substitute teacher, bus driver, anything like that.
Thank you. Mr. Odom, you want to
I did call the school after the meeting. Mr. Ryan Nance, assistant principal there, he did go over and apologize and speak to her at the end of that day. But I requested again, he did call them back. They do know who the students were involved, and they did have some punishment there. But Mr. Nance did call the family back again. So
Well,
he did that.
it is unfortunate that those occur, and as a school, sounds like appropriate things were taken care of, but you do the best that you can with it, but it still does not wipe the black mark off of what occurred, unfortunately. The second thing, Mr. Hodge, if I may, to the lady that spoke about the archery, it's certainly my hope, and I think, again, that the hope of the board that could happen. There are activities that are sponsored and specifically supported by this board that we would, I guess, expect that the principal would follow through. But things like archery, who don't fall in that category, chess club, so forth, you're really looking for someone at that school that has an interest in making that happen. If there's not someone there that knows something about archery, we really don't need to have an archery club out there, because that could be problematic. So I think we encourage, Mr. Odom, would I be correct, we would encourage all principals to be open and trying to find ways to encourage that. But in this case, with archery in particular, it's going to be a need for someone that has the capabilities and the interest at that school or within that confines to pick up the ball and roll with it. And I surely hope they do, because you've got some wonderful children there that need that support. But it is encouraged, and I think, talking about Christiana Middle School, I know Mr. Horton well. I feel like he would be certainly open if he can find someone that would be willing to sponsor that.
I wouldn't be surprised for Mr. Horn to get a phone call, actually. So.
Anybody else want to speak on anything? Mr. Holday?
Chairman Hodge, the school board policy requires that when we go to training and all of the board members are not present, that we report back in. Today, I attended a TSBA-sanctioned school finance training, and I was fortunate to be able to sit there and enjoy the good relationship that we have with our funding body and hear stories from other systems that are not as fortunate. It is not an inexpensive venture to educate the students that we have, and it's a challenge with the facilities and staffing, the insurance issues. We're not done with the next year's budget yet. We're still very much struggling and working with that, but it's always good to get the training the TSBA offers, and I was able to do that today. Fortunately, we continue to be almost, over $1,100 less per pupil in expenditures, and still obtaining exemplary status. Fourth largest school system in the state of Tennessee, and yet there are over 100 school systems that spend more per pupil than we do. And we just really make the dollars stretch, and we are so incredibly appreciative of the good relationship and the confidence that our funding body, the county commission, gives us.
Are you able to explain the BEP formula now?
It has been explained to me.
Let me speak to some of the Houma-Pittard campus. We have several teachers from Houma-Pittard back there also, I see tonight. And I'm going to address some of the performance and staffing issues. I served on the interview committee that recommended Dr. Bridgman to Mr. Gill as the Houma-Pittard principal. I have respect for her intellectual capabilities and thought it would be a good opportunity for her to demonstrate success. One of my tasks as the director of school is to oversee principal administrators' evaluation process and make determinations based upon the evidence accumulated over the year. The state asked us to make placement decisions by June 15th, so there's some calendar things to say. Homer Pittard Campus Schools has approximately a 13% free reduced population compared to approximately the counties is about 43% population free reduced. Typically, there is a very positive academic link between student performance and a lower free reduced percentage. That is also evidence at Homer Pittard Campus School. In 2007-8, their reading language arts was 98.4%, proficient advanced. Math was 98.4%. In 2009-10, the reading language arts was 74.9% and math at 60.4%. But the standards changed and the test changed, and so we see those reflections there. In 2011-12, reading language arts is 76.9% and math at 70.6%. So the two-year gain in reading language arts was 2% and math was 10.2%. Typically, Homer Pittard Campus School runs above the Rutherford County School System's average for achievement, somewhere in the 12 to 15% range based upon that particular subject. I also want to note and compliment that Homer Pittard Campus School was one of the Rutherford County's 6 designated reward schools, and that's along with Lascassas Elementary, John Coleman Elementary, Thurman Francis Arts Academy, the McFadden School of Excellence, and David Urey Elementary. We actually had another 20-something schools that were called near reward, one area or something like that. So reward schools are recognized for being in the top 5% of the state in one of 2 areas, and that was mentioned: performance, which is a high achievement, and or progress, which is called value-added growth. HPC, or Homer Pittard Campus, was recognized for the performance, as were our other magnet schools. And I'm talking about the basically McFadden and Thurman Francis. Central didn't get to compete. I mean, they didn't have all the grades and that sort of thing in because we're expanding, each year, adding additional grades to them through this time. Homer Pittard Campus was recognized for performance, as were our other magnet type schools. Other schools, David Urey Elementary, Thurman Francis Arts Academy, and McFadden School of Excellence attained reward status under both progress and performance. So if you'll kind of open up the chart that I have, can you do that for me? I think he left it on there. So what is the progress trend at Homer Pittard Campus School? What are we looking at when we talk about some of this? One of the things that, okay, still, okay.
Ms. Grover, may I ask for clarification? You had said, as well as other magnet schools, and I just want to be sure for anyone who doesn't know in the room that we are not a magnet school.
Right, but which is very typical of magnet is the socioeconomic free reduce, which is very typical of that percentage. Okay, so what I began to look at was what this is known as this is a state document. It's not mine. It's on the web. You can see that yourself if you as a parent choose to look at it and do that. So here's what I look at as I begin to. This is Homer Pittard. It's 2012. This is the last one that was produced by the state. There'll be another one. The 2013 information is not all in yet. Sometime in the months.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. It's difficult to read from where we sit. Thank you.
Okay. Here is a 3-year estimate for Homer Pittard Campus School, and they're under the overall performance for value added, which is the progress part of how you can become a reward school. The literacy piece, the numeracy piece, the literacy and numeracy. In the 3-year estimate, which was during the time, and Dr. Bridgman was there during this. They are level 5 with positive gains. Now, what's a positive or zero gain? A zero gain, an example of that would be if a student going from 4th grade to 5th grade learned exactly what they were supposed to learn in that year. You would get a zero gain is what it would be called. If you have a positive gain, then that student is learning more than what the state expectation would be or the average would be from just a year-to-year progress. So it's 3.54. When you drop it to a 2-year estimate, those numbers were 0.83, 2.89, 2.57, 3.37. And these become what we call teacher effect for those gains to do that. The most recent one, which was the 1 year, last year, those numbers had declined to a negative 1.63, which is basically we didn't gain a year for a year. Under the overall scoring, we have still a plus 1.23. The numeracy piece was a 0.26 and a 0.63. The effective change over that 3-year period for performance. Now, again, the achievement level is high. They run reward status for that particular achievement level. So we have a change in the overall performance in that period of time of minus 5.17, which is the effect number that the state gives that. And that's simply by subtracting this number from that number from a positive 3.4 to a negative 1.63. And likewise, you can see the others.
Excuse me, may I ask a question, please? So if I'm understanding this correctly, because in layman's terms, you're taking averages over a 3-year estimate, and this year's estimate, which is the negative 1.63, 1.23, 0, negative 0.025, and you're subtracting it against the 3.54, that row there, correct?
Against the 3-year trend. The state gives a 3-year... Here, well, let me finish, if you will.
Can I finish my question? Because I'm not entire. I just want to make sure I'm following you. So you're saying that there was a negative gain in terms of those averages, and that campus school basically lost gain by measurement of these numbers?
I didn't say it. The state is saying that for the overall average, that the students at the campus school for the last year that they did not gain a year for a year's performance for that period of time. But more... No, let me finish, please, okay? And then, because I can answer some of your questions as I go. Basically, what I begin to look at then is, as a director of schools, is that I look at trends, not single year, because you do have fluctuations in trend. The troubling thing to me was to see a 3-year, a 2-year, which the last 2 recent most years begins to decline, and then I see in the most recent year that they have completed this for, I see a further decline. So my trend, what I look at more than individual performance, is trends. So I began to ask myself some questions, what affects these trends? Myself and the staff here, the people in instruction and all that do that. One of the things that I noticed as we inspect this more, Houma Pittard Campus School has experienced the loss of 18 teachers in the last 4 years. Only 2 of the original classroom teachers from the time Dr. Bridgman came remain at Houma Pittard Campus School. It's not uncommon to see a decline in value-added performance as experienced staff leaves. Of the 18 teachers leaving, which is about 61%, of those, 11 of the 18 actually transferred to another teaching assignment. They did not quit teaching or retire. A number of those came by and talked to me and other people on our staff. They did some communication about possibility for their reasons for leaving. Although science is not directly displayed on this chart, if you go to the most recent state report card for last year, the 3-year science value added score dropped from a B to a D. That number was also a negative 0.8. So there was a decline in not only the literacy and the other, but also in that. I'm going to ask if they will to wait. Let me finish, please.
Yeah, we're going to wait.
Another element that we're looking at for the future of Houma Pittard Campus School is the closer relationship with MTSU as the university transitions to a new teacher certification requirement that adds what's called a Residency 1 program. The state has changed this. This is where prospective teachers will spend a significant amount of time in a K-12 school environment prior to student teaching. We've been in communication with MTSU because they would like to expand their connection with Homer Pittard Campus School to include this additional time for prospective teachers. They want teachers that are training across for the state to receive certification to do much of this Residency 1 at Homer Pittard Campus School. The issue then that we face in looking at this together, if you're going to bring new teachers in training in there, the teaching staff at the school needs to have experience. They need to have experience accomplished within professional learning community teamwork environment. And remember, we have only 2 of the original teachers remaining. That concerns you when you're going to bring new teachers in for training and you've lost a lot of experience in a very short period of time, 4-year period of time. As we interview for the new administrator for Homer Pittard Campus School, MTSU will be serving on that committee. And no question about that. They've agreed to, and they are prepared to serve and also make recommendations for that. Another thing that I want to add, I'm sure you're hearing the same community comments about Homer Pittard Campus that I'm hearing. And what will it take for Homer Pittard to return to the enviable, widespread positive status that was evident just a few years ago? Here are some items that we've got to ensure that's there to do this. One is a leader that exhibits effective leadership in a team-building environment that includes staff, parents, and MTSU. 2, we've got to have a teaching staff with a committed long-term engagement. The state calls this the rehire and retention capability of a school. They have a term for that, which you know most commonly probably as more of the school culture is a big piece of that when you talk about it. We've got to have a focus on covering academic standards in the new Common Core, since that's what we'll be training teachers for. A statement that comes to me very often comes by a man by the name of Bill Taylor. He said, individuals win games, teams win championships. The difference between the two. Homer Pittard can recapture the community respect and serve as a model training facility for prospective MTSU education students. There's nothing personal on myself here for Dr. Bridgman. She will still be administrator within the Rutherford County school system. However, the current education environment is not a good fit and in the best interest of Homer Pittard Campus School students. With training and experience under principals who have community team building skills, I believe Dr. Bridgman has the intelligence and the drive to become an effective leader. So I want to help her work with that to accomplish and add those skills.
Board member? What will, if you would, I'm sorry?
I just didn't want to forget what it was that he stated. That's my question.
What I'd rather do versus getting a back and forth deal is Mr. Odom will be available when we get done. So if you want to address him.
May I ask some questions about the data that you're providing? Because a lot of this, as you mentioned, it's not personal, and you're trying to make some actual hard decisions, which we want to appreciate. However, I want to understand the data better, if I may. May I ask that question with the board present?
If members of the public have questions concerning data for Mr. Odom, I think with personnel issues, they really need to be taken up directly with Mr. Odom, and he can arrange a meeting to go through all that with you guys, rather than do it during a public meeting. So that would be the appropriate forum to do that in.
Mr. Odom brought the data in front of public meetings, so I'd like to continue the discussion.
After, we're going to close the meeting down here in just a second, and feel free to Mr. Odom address anybody who wants to deal with the data up here at that time. Mr. Reed, the board attorneys just asked us not to discuss that, correct?
Well, I just wanted to ask, half the teachers at Laverne High and Laverne Middle School have left. Are they the principal there?
For personnel issues, we cannot debate personnel issues in a public meeting like this. If there's questions of the members of the public, I'm sorry, I'm still speaking.
Oh, she was speaking too.
So, If there's members of the audience have questions for the director of schools, they can ask the director of schools any question they want to have. I'm sure he'd be happy to schedule a meeting with them as well, should they want to do that. But he's here tonight. I'm sure he'd be available for questions afterwards. But that'd be the appropriate forum to address that in.
Anybody else?
I just want to tell Mr. Odom, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you going through that explanation, and that
I'm sorry.
I appreciate you having the ability to make the hard decisions. And I've known you for over 20 years, and I know that you will always make the decision that you feel best, that is best for the community and specifically for our children, and I appreciate that.
Mr. Odom, I agree with Mr. Blair and support you totally.
Anybody else?
You just want to ask the question to.
I move to adjourn.
That's what it's turned out to be.
Second.
We're adjourned.